What's up, everybody? Trey Biddy with HawgSports coming to you from War Memorial Stadium in Little Rock after Arkansas's 42-point win, 56-14 over Arkansas State. And it wasn't a noogie to your little brother. It wasn't purple nurple or even a stink hat. That was like a taste of the belt from your stepdad. That was a beating. And I want to mention the walk and talk built by Sutherlands. And for those of you who are interested in like a Barndominium, hunting lodges, all that stuff, they've got all of that stuff for you. And I know you've got a lot of options when it comes to building supplies, home and garden, but know that the Sutherlands, Mark, his sons, he's got two kids that went to the University of Arkansas. He was on John McDonald's first Southwest Conference track team. These are Arkansas people, so I think it's important that people know that when we talk about some of the stores that are Arkansas based. And these are Razorback fans. You can reach out to them at 1-800-66-BARNS and get a free quote, or you can go to Sutherlands.com. But they've got everything you need from building supplies, Barndominiums, hunting lodges, all that stuff. Back to the walk and talk. I mean, that's about like everything that you wanted to see from the first game that you missed out on, we saw in this one. We saw 4 sacks. Quincy Rhodes had a couple. Phillip Lee had 1.5. And I think he's going to be fine. He's got a little bit of a rib. Xavier Sori had 14 tackles and an interception. He didn't play very good in the first game. I mean, you've got a lot better play from your front seven, and that was an issue. That was an issue in the last game. We just didn't see it. And, you know, Taylon Green started off extremely strong. He was strong the whole night with his legs. He hit a little bit of a lull where he had 4 straight incompletions, just didn't look crisp, had 2 interceptions. One of them sailed on him pretty bad, but then came back and finished, 8 of his last 9, and was just really consistent there at the end. And his legs were, I mean, he had 151 rushing yards, looked really fast. I mean, he's such a threat running the ball. People take such bad angles with him. We saw Mike Washington pop off a big run early. I was wondering where Rohan Jones was. I feel like I was crazy because, you know, I want to say this too, because like nobody wants to hear about the issues that I had like in the press box and stuff like that. Nobody wants to hear about traffic flow and stuff. When you get down to this level in this bowl, and I know the game cut out for some people, but I thought it was a great environment here for possibly the last time that we'll see in Fayetteville. I mean, stuff like that. You got kids playing out here from Little Rock. Thanks, y'all. You got kids playing out here on the field, and just driving up to the game. Traffic was rough, but getting here, you know, and seeing all the people flow in from Little Rock and stuff, I thought that was really cool. I thought it was a great environment overall here in this stadium for what may be the last Razorback game. So it's important that we mention that because, you know, Little Rock has its issues and stuff. And not that Fayetteville doesn't. Fayetteville has issues too. But I thought overall, you know, as far as this area right here with the fans, I thought it was handled really well. I think it was probably a really fun experience for everybody that was at this game. Back to the game. Rohan Jones, I felt like I was crazy because I've been touting Rohan Jones this and that, but I think we finally saw the speed on that 50-plus yard touchdown catch that he had. He had another nice catch down here from KJ Jackson. KJ Jackson, I was sitting in the press box. I was like, man, I don't know if I would put the second team offense in because I knew KJ Jackson was coming in because I saw him warming up. I don't know if I'd put the second team offense in backed up at their own 1-yard line like that, but they went with it anyway. And it turned out, I mean, great experience for them, especially for KJ. Ran the ball, threw the ball really well. That was really encouraging to see. I think they've got a quarterback there in KJ Jackson for when Taylon Green's time here is done. But offensive line protected well. I don't know that Taylon took a sack. You know, he had to escape a couple times, but you know, sometimes that stuff happens when, you know, you bring a lot of blitzers and stuff. So I want to make sure we're covering everything on offense. I think that Taylon has a favorite receiver in Omega Blake. I mean, he likes him. C.J. Brown played really well, caught the ball well, took a tough hit one time. Defensively, as I mentioned, you know, you got some good pressure from that front. You know, secondary, let's talk about Kenai. We talked about him. You know, if you watch Sam Pittman's press conference, he'll talk about Kenai Walker a little bit. But Kenai has been pretty steady. Like, all the cornerbacks have had a little bit of issue. You know, Julian Neal in the first game, you know, gave up a number of plays. And Julian played pretty well overall. He had some issues here and there, but he played pretty well. You can't expect, like, perfection out of your cornerbacks, except for I'm not so sure that Kenai didn't. I'm not so sure he wasn't perfect today. Maybe I'll go back and watch and see something, but thought he played really well overall. Too many penalties. What was 8 or 9 penalties, I think. But that's too many penalties. And I hate to talk about the negatives when you have a win, but special teams did have some issues. We saw them give up that long touchdown on the kickoff, and there was another time where they had 12 men on the field and they had to burn a timeout because of it on special teams. And I think it was a punt return. I think it was maybe a field goal try. I can't remember exactly. And then there was a signal. I think Caleb James, gave a signal, a conflicting. I can't remember exactly, but there was a penalty on it, or was it a penalty or just spotted the ball foul? So some issues on special teams, but overall the positives I think outweigh the negatives. I think it's a good game. And let's put this in perspective too, because I think a lot of people see, any team on a lower level that's not in the SEC, you think you're just supposed to go out and beat them 70-0. And, I predicted them to cover in this game, but I thought 45-21. I know in past games against Group of 5 opponents under Sam Pittman, the previous 8 games, none of them have scored 4 touchdowns on Arkansas. Even the Liberty game when they lost, they didn't score 4 touchdowns. But Arkansas had never scored 50. And a big topic of discussion, does this team coming down to Little Rock, because, you kind of get a vibe that they didn't necessarily want to come, but they got the message across that this is a very important game to this state. If this had gone any other way, even a close win, we'd still be hearing about it. This kind of shuts it up. You really want to play Arkansas? I mean, do you really want to do that? As I said, this was a taste of the belt from your stepdad, not your big brother, roughing you up a little bit and playing nice with you. This is somebody you don't like, maybe giving it to you. So what else we got to talk about? Devin Bell just had, I think, 1 punt. I don't want to leave anything out, but this is I always get done with these walk and talks, and people are like, well, you didn't mention this, you didn't mention that, and it's just off the cuff reaction. Sometimes I forget stuff, and sometimes it's just rambling and where things take me. Overall, though, a really solid performance. 56-14. That's what you want to do against any team in the G5 level. But you also shouldn't just expect 56-14. That's not something that you should just go in expecting. A 40-something to 20-something win over a G5 is, about what you should do at least. And they did more than that. So we're going to find out more about them. Again, we found out this, there's a lot of talk about whether Arkansas is going to dispatch these guys like they should, like you want to see. And they did that. They took care of business against Alabama A&M. All right, now we're in the meat of it. Ole Miss in Oxford next week. Ole Miss edged Kentucky. I didn't see the game. I just saw the score, but it was at Kentucky. It's always tough to win in the SEC, especially early on the road when everybody's got everything to play for. So we'll have to go back and watch that game, get a little bit of better idea for Ole Miss, maybe on the Monday show on HawgSports Live. And yeah, I mean, you got Memphis after this Ole Miss game, Notre Dame in Fayetteville. That's the meat right there. You get a bye, and then you're at Knoxville, at Tennessee. So things are picking up here. You got a couple of games to figure some things out. Too many penalties in this one, some special teams errors. Talon hit a bit of a lull passing, during the second quarter. Second quarter wasn't outrageous, right? I mean, they only scored 7, but they came out and won, 28-7. Maybe that's a good learning opportunity for them as well to, you come out with such emotion, which we wanted to see. That was important. We wanted to see them come out like they really wanted to dominate this game, and they did it on the very first drive of that Mike Washington run. But, the game isn't over in the first quarter. You got to come out, and Petrino, he was up there, and somebody said, man, he looked like coming out of that press box like he was ready to tear into somebody, like he had some at halftime, because he's in the box, and then he comes down to the field at halftime. But whatever it was, they got it straightened out. I mean, Talon's last drive I thought was really, really nice, steady, good flow, good rhythm, running, throwing, not just from him, the backs too. But I thought that was a really good way to end for Talon Green. And with Arkansas, no matter what we find out about this defense, and we're going to find out more about it. I mean, they did what they should have done. I mean, they held them to 7 points. That's pretty solid. And there was too many penalties on that drive, as Sam Pittman mentioned, that they did score on. But with Talon, you're always going to have a chance, I think, and he's not going to be perfect, and we're going to demand perfection, and we're going to get frustrated, and people get frustrated with me on X and stuff, and I get frustrated with them back. And it's fun. That's what it's supposed to be like. You're supposed to be pissed. You're supposed to have that emotion and that energy, and you're supposed to just fall to your knees, in frustration and in joy about football, because that's what it is. It's just a different kind of sport. It's not a picnic out here. It's emotional. Be emotional with it. Be human. I say that all the time. Live the human experience. Don't just go through life just like, oh, I'm not going to expect much out of them because they're just going to hurt me again. I mean, let them hurt you. Feel that experience, because it makes it sweet when they do things that make you proud of them. And some of the interesting things I've seen this week, like on X and stuff, like people, we can say all we want, and people have gotten mad at me because I've said some things about Little Rock, but Fayetteville does some stuff too that frustrates me. It's not just Little Rock, but I'm from here. I'm a Central Arkansas guy, and I lived in Fayetteville most of my life now, but I'm from here. This is my roots here. But it's interesting when somebody else says something, how pissed off we get, and we all kind of come together, the Arkansas Twitter mob and all that kind of stuff. Do not talk about us. We say whatever we want about our kids, but you can't. And I love that. I love that about Arkansas and, just this state, this community. I mean, it's like it seems like every week I run into somebody, and they're like, do you know so-and-so? I'm like, yeah, I know so-and-so, even though they live in DeQueen or something, yeah, I know them. Arkansas is a small state, and it's a community, and we sometimes pit Little Rock versus Northwest Arkansas, for years and stuff. But I thought this was really great, again, from where this area ends right here, the press area, because we didn't have any working internet for a while. It makes it difficult to do your job as a media member here. I know nobody wants to hear about that, but I just thought, looking down in this stands, this is kind of where I wish I was sitting. And maybe if I come here again, if there is another game, maybe I just don't. I just closed my computer and I was like, you know what? I'm 1987 again. My phone doesn't work. My computer doesn't work. I'm just going to watch the game. And I've thought about that a lot, more and more. Man, I wish I was just in the stands more. Some people they like to sit in the box, and that's fine. I used to always love just being in the stands. Miracle on Markham, this is where I was. The first Miracle on Markham was right there, giving Mike Jones a big hug. I looked down and he was crying, and I was crying too. That's what it's about. Not perfect, not a perfect game, not a perfect outing, but did what they were supposed to do, and we shouldn't expect perfection. It's not going to be perfect against Ole Miss. We'll be ready to kill each other at some point during that game, I'm sure. And it's on the road, and it's in the SEC, and it's early, and everybody's got everything to play for. And I think it's going to be a great game, no matter how it turns out. Obviously, it's not going to be great if Arkansas didn't win it. So I don't have this backpack on me with all this equipment now. Everybody giving me a hard time about huffing and puffing. When you're talking constantly and you're walking up bleachers and up a hill, you're going to lose your breath if you're not focused on your breathing. And that's just a little bit of early inexperience on the walk and talk, that sometimes you got to pause and look around a little bit. Get your breath and back to it. That's how we do the walk and talk. Man, I feel like I'm missing somebody I should be talking about right now. And this is going to be late. It's going to be a late walk and talk. I don't know if I can go up in the press area. I may just try to do that. The internet's just so spotty that I'm worried I'm not going to be able to upload this. Should I try? Maybe I will. Maybe I'll just give it a shot and see if it'll work versus going out to my car here. Hello. All right, maybe the last time here. It's going to be a long time before they even play Arkansas State again. I mean, this game came on the schedule 6 years ago. Hello. You sending me up? Thank you. All right, I'm going to hop up the elevator and I'm going to try to upload this, but I want to thank everybody for watching the Walk and Talk. Appreciate Sutherlands also. The Walk and Talk is built by Sutherlands. They got 6 locations throughout Arkansas. 1-800-66-BARNS. Get a free quote, a free estimate. Barndominiums, hunting lodges. They've got some pre-made stuff also. A couple of weeks you'll get fitted out for that kind of stuff. What's up, guys? This is Walk and Talk. Right. This has been Trey Biddy with HawgSports.com. Thanks to our SID guys. Wow. All right. We'll catch you next time.